Hello everyone and welcome back to the Painted Springs Garage YouTube channel. Today I've got the Escape back in the garage because the air conditioning is not working very well and it is hot outside. So I've been battling the air conditioning not really working well for a while, and I think I found what the problem is. Because when I am driving down the freeway and it's like reasonably warm outside, like less than 90 degrees Fahrenheit, the air conditioning actually works pretty well. But if it gets really warm outside, or if I'm traveling at slower speeds or stuck in traffic, then it gets warm, then it gets cold again, and it gets warm again. And I have checked the freon levels, and they're good. Like, it has plenty of freon. So it really seems to be an airflow issue. And when I look at my air conditioning condenser up front, like, it looks to be pretty plugged up with stuff, especially if I get like way down here on the bottom part. It is like plug solid, and if this can't pass air through, then it can't cool the freon. Then it just doesn't work properly. I don't know how it got plugged up like that, but I do know that I have a new AC condenser, and I'm pretty optimistic that that's going to fix it, because again, if I'm driving at higher speeds, it actually cools pretty well. Which just means I'm getting like more airflow across the AC condenser. At least that's my theory. So let's get this bumper pulled off. I'm gonna have to pull the winch and receiver off the front here, but that's easy once the bumper's off. Then I should be able to get the AC condenser out, I hope, pretty easily. So let's get to it. So one nice thing of having had this off several times and putting a winch on it and whatnot is that there's not a lot holding the bumper on anymore. I took some shields off underneath previously, and the bumper is kind of like loose, just the way it sits on here. So I don't have that many fasteners to take off, but I think I'll get this bumper off in a jiffy. Then we can take the winch and all that mounting off and get up to the AC condenser pretty quick, I think, here. All right, so got the bumper off, and now we can see the AC condenser a little more clearly here. And you can see this guy is pretty well plugged up. It's in pretty rough shape. Up here it's more or less plugged. Down here it's like plugged and damaged. So not sure how that happened. The transmission cooler part actually looks like okay though. So you can see it's got like thicker fins on top here compared to this area. These are thicker, thinner. So this and below is the AC condenser, and above is the transmission cooler, all in like one unit here. And here's my fancy winch that I built for it a few years ago. And so that just bolts on to the bumper on the sides. It's basically a trailer receiver that I've modified to bolt onto the Escape. So you just gotta take a couple wires off of that, unbolt it, and this will drop off. Then we can get to the AC condenser, and pretty easy to swap it out from there, I believe. So let's get the winch off of here, and then we'll work on getting the AC condenser out. Well, you can really see behind where the winch was just how plugged up this AC condenser was. So the fins look to be like behind here actually in pretty good shape. I probably could clear a lot of this out and it would be okay. But it was only like $50 for a brand new unit. And up top here, it's not as bad. Bent, but not really that dirty. But considering how bad the bottom is here with like some fins hanging off, Like, even if I did clean this out, it doesn't have much life left in it. You can see here where the trailer hitch was, and you can, that's funny, perfect square. You can almost see like perfectly, like here's the crossbar, here's where the winch was, here's where you can see through the trailer hitch. That's pretty cool. And yeah, this winch, I may put this on my other truck since the Escape is pretty much retired from its trail days. I may see how that, see if the crossbar is wide enough to fit between the frame rails on the truck, and maybe just modify the ends a little bit. So we'll see. But all right, let's get that AC condenser off, and we'll swap it out with this new unit. Look at this guy. Look how clean this is. And you know, this is crazy. If I pick this one up, like I can see like right through it. You can actually see like the windows of the garage door through this one. So that'll pass air much more easily than the one I'm taking off. So let's get back to it. Get that new AC condenser installed. All right, everyone, so I've got the old AC condenser off of here. I'm gonna pick this guy up and see if we can see through it at all. You know what? Yeah, maybe a little bit. On top here, we can. In parts. A little bit, maybe. The bottom here. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we're seeing reflection as much as anything from my flash. Not a lot. Yeah, you can see a little bit through the top. But that guy's in rough shape. It's heavy, actually. It's really heavy. Compared to the new one is like really light. And we can like actually see through the new one here. You can see my truck behind it. So that's really good. So we'll get that installed in a second here. But now that I got the AC condenser off, I can see that my radiator also has like a ton of dirt on the bottom. So yeah, not really sure how that got packed full of dirt. Top looks like nice and clean. Bottom full of dirt. So I'm gonna get my blow gun and see if I can get at least some of that dirt out of there. All right, with about half an hour of blasting compressed air through here, I've got it a whole lot better than it was. You can actually even see light through a lot of it now. So a whole lot better. It's not perfect, but I wasn't really having overheating problems before anyhow, so it's a lot better than it was. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the new AC condenser installed. So I've got this thing bolted in now and the AC lines on it, and you can see that was actually pretty easy. This whole thing's actually gone pretty easy so far. Hopefully I don't jinx myself. But now that I have the AC lines on here, I have obviously a lot to put back together yet. But I want to get a vacuum pump going right away because it's going to take a while just to like pull this down to a vacuum, make sure there's no moisture in the system. But also, if I have a leak here at the connections, I want to figure that out sooner than later, and especially before I get like the whole thing put back together and then need to take it back apart. So let's get a vacuum pump on there, make sure this thing holds some vacuum, and once I know that, I'll get the rest of it going back together while it pulls down. So pretty simple setup I've got here for the to recharge the AC system. A set of gauges, you can pick these up at Harbor Freight or Amazon, you know, less than 50 bucks probably for a set. Those just plug into the high pressure line and low pressure line on the car's air conditioning system. And then this yellow line in the middle is like multi-purpose. Right now I've got it connected to a vacuum pump so I can pull the system down. And once I have it pulled down, I can shut these valves on both sides so that the yellow line's not connected to the side lines anymore. Then I change the adapter on the yellow line, and I can just hook it up to like cheap cans of freon that you pick up at the grocery store or auto parts store, and recharge it. So, not real scientific, but yeah, the vacuum pump's like $100 or so. This whole setup might be like $150. So if you're recharging an air conditioning system, doing work like this more than once, it's really worthwhile to buy your own gauges and vacuum pump to save money from, paying an auto shop to use their much more expensive equipment. So I'm just gonna plug this vacuum pump in here, and we'll pull vacuum down on the system. You gotta check the oil level on it too before you use it, but I checked that already. It's good. Oh, look at that. You can already see that it's pulling a vacuum down on both sides. So that's a real good sign. If there was a major leak in the system, we won't be able to pull vacuum like that. So the next thing is, let's get a vacuum pulled on this for maybe 10 minutes or so. Make sure you got all the air out of the system. Probably run it for 30 minutes to really get all the air out. But after 10 minutes, I'll shut the pump off, and we'll see if the system actually holds a vacuum. And that's going to tell me that it's not leaking before I go and put freon in it, because freon's not cheap either. So we'll let this run a while and come back and check on it. All right, well, this thing's been running for about 10 minutes or so. So what I'm going to do is shut these valves off to isolate the lines on the vehicle from this yellow line. And then I'll shut the vacuum pump off, because we don't need it running if that's isolated. And what I want to see is, do both of these stay down basically where they are, or do they start creeping up? And so far it looks like they're going to stay put. So that's good. So, all right, well, since they're staying down there, I'm going to run the vacuum pump longer and just really, make sure there's no moisture in the system. And then we'll get this thing recharged. All right, so I've got the bumper cover back on here, and everything's really back together. So ready to put some freon in here. I've had the vacuum pump turned off for probably half an hour or so. I put the bumper cover on, and my gauges here are looking good, still holding vacuum, so that's great. And you know what? I took the winch off, decided not to put it back on. So big hole in the bumper there, kind of makes me sad, but I think I'm gonna retire this thing from off-roading and just use it as a daily commuter. Maybe I'll even try to find another bumper cover for it. Had a lot of adventures with this off-road, but it's just too hard on the thing, and it gets expensive when I break things on it. So anyhow, let's get this backed out of the garage a bit. I'll open the door, back this out so I can run the engine, then we'll get some freon in it. So recharging this should be pretty simple, and I've done it before, this and a couple other cars. But I get these little cans of freon. This just came from Walmart here. You can see it's a 12-ounce can, 340 grams. And according to the car, this takes 0.71 grams. So just a hair more than 2 cans will be full. 2 cans is going to be 680 grams. Probably close enough. So all that I really need to do here to fill this is turn this valve here to open the can. It's got a little, guy in there that goes down a pin that punctures the can. So let's open that up. Oh, I felt a little like whoop there. I think I went past something. So I'm going to come up here and just open up the blue side, and we'll see, hopefully. Oh yeah, look at that. You can see that something happened. And right now the air conditioning isn't actually running. So I'm gonna just manipulate this a little bit, see if we can make some pressure happen here. There we go. Yeah, okay, we're at a positive pressure, so we're definitely pushing something from the can here. There's almost like a Goldilocks zone when I turn this valve. It's like if I go just a little too much, it seals the can off, and if I go too far out, it isn't pushing the plunger down. So I gotta kind of find that right spot where we're, getting something going in here. And then I'm gonna take the can and just hold it upside down here. That might help. Maybe I'll give it a little shake. Sometimes it likes that. So definitely getting, oh yeah, there goes some. Oh, you can see it in there, like bubbling up. So it's doing things. Now I'm gonna put in as much as I can this way, just like straight from the can. But then when it doesn't seem to want to pull anything more, I'm gonna turn the air conditioner on. That'll pull a vacuum on the low side here, the blue side, and that'll suck it in from the can. We should be able to empty the can doing that. All right, I'm gonna turn the air conditioning on, and that should help it suck some of this freon in. So we'll just kind of tuck that guy there. Let's come in here and just stick it on auto and tell it to go all the way cold. Yeah, so now you can see as soon as it turns on, it's just sucking this down, but it's also gonna suck stuff through here while it's doing that. So I can feel the fitting here is getting cold. That's a good sign. Our high side's slowly coming up. That's good. A good sign that it's pulling something in. All right, I'm gonna work at this for a while, get some freon in here. Stand by.
12 seconds later.
Well, I'm on can number 2 now, and it's really starting to pull it down. So this is good. You can see it pulling in through the sight glass there. There it's cycled back on. High side pressure is really coming up where I like it. And the low side will settle down once it has emptied the can out. As long as it's pulling this in on the low side, it's gonna have higher than usual pressure, but I'll bet that'll come down around 30 or so, 30-ish, once the can's empty. And I can feel it really getting lighter and colder, the can. Yeah, you can see as the can's slowing down, the pressure's also coming down. Feel the can's maybe got about a quarter left in there, so we're getting near the bottom. I might need to go and get a bit more. I think it's like 10 or 12 bucks a can, so it's really not bad. But I was hoping I could get away with just 2 here. Yeah, you can see it's really not coming through the sight glass anymore either. So I think we're at the end of our can. But, all right, well, I'm gonna get this can disconnected here, and we'll see where we're sitting, but probably gonna need one more. All right, everyone, so I picked up a 3rd bottle of freon. Got my gauges equalized. Right now the system's off, and they're around 75 or so PSI, both of them. So I'm gonna turn air conditioning back on. This gauge is gonna go whoop. This gauge is gonna go whoop. And this one will probably start cycling pretty quick. But as we add freon, that cycling will slow down. And once we get to a spot where it's cycling really slowly, that's probably good. So let's turn the system back on. Let's reach through here and hit it auto, cold, max AC. And yep, there we go, cycling down.
pretty quick and it'll shut off. I think around 20 it shuts off. There it goes. Well, this one's come up around 150 or so. So let's open this can up. There we go. And we'll kind of turn it back down so we see things moving here. Oh, you know what? I need to open up this valve. Don't want to pull anything in. There we go. Now we can see stuff happening. And the high side's getting a little higher. I'd like to see that closer to about 200 and this staying around 30 or 30-ish, 35. All right, so I'm pretty happy with where we are here. This can, I probably actually used more than half the can or most of the can. But at idle, my low side pressure is coming down a little over 20. And my high side's like 225. So I may be a little overcharged, but I like where that's falling. I'd like to see my low side pressure being a little bit higher, but I think we're good because it's kind of coming down and settling above like, you know, maybe 22, 23 PSI. But then the compressor shuts off. So I'm going to take the gauges off here, take it for a drive and kind of see how happy it seems. And, you know, most importantly, is it getting cold and staying cold inside the car? So let's take the gauges off, go for a little drive. Well, I've been driving around for a little while here now, and temperature I've got set to 70 inside the car, and it's about 78 outside the car, and it's just keeping nice and cool, no problem. Before, when my AC condenser was really plugged up, if I was in a, parked or in like slow traffic where, not getting the airflow across the condenser, the fan really couldn't pull stuff. I mean, the radiator was pretty plugged too, so the electric fans weren't really cooling the condenser. It would start to get warm in the car and only cool down if I was just like cruising down the freeway where I was getting a lot of like wind, flowing across the AC condenser. But now it's cooling really good at idle, so I think I got that fixed. And if I turn this down to like 60, like the air coming out of the vents is ice cold. It's great. So I think I finally got this fixed, and I'm pretty happy with this. It's probably, going to be a much better commuting experience from here on. So turn the fans down a little bit, but thanks for watching. Hope you learned something from this about fixing air conditioning systems. And it's really not that difficult to replace an AC condenser, honestly. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.